Okay. So last night was the premiere of Survivor 50. And I gotta be honest, y'all, how do I want to say this? When 50 was first announced, like before we knew who the cast was, like the whole like in the hands of the fans gimmick, it was just this is going to be the 50th season. It's got to be a returnee player season, and fans were speculating like who's it going to be, who's it going to have. 10 seasons ago, which is crazy to think Winners of War was 10 seasons ago already. But it's like we just did our all winner season, so is this going to be like Second Chance 2? Is this you're not going to do Winners at War 2? Is this going to be a Legend season? Is it just going to be a New Era All Stars? Is it going to be everybody? What are we doing? And the speculation was fun. It was really exciting. It was really hype. See who's going to be here. Who's the what is that? Is it? Oh, come here, dude. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear Bahamut crying. I think he just wants some attention. You want to be in the video? You want to talk about Survivor with me? No, I don't think so. I think he just wanted to hop up on the couch. I might have to interact with him as this goes along. But it was like really exciting and really hype. And then the rumors started coming in about who was being interviewed, who seemed like they were going to be on the cast, who was cut. And as it was going on, some of them are like, ooh, that's kind of a hype pick. Ooh, that's kind of a hype pick. But then some of those picks were like, oh, I guess they're not actually going to bring back Sean. Oh, I guess they're not going to bring back Davey. Oh, I guess they're not bringing back Amanda. Oh, Jesse and Carolyn aren't going to be here? Really? Jerry's not here? Wait, you're bringing back Colby, but not Jerry? That just feels weird. That just feels wrong. Huh? And then when I finally, like, when there was like, here's the cast, everyone is revealed. Like, okay, so there's two people from 49 that, I haven't seen yet. So, give them the benefit of the doubt. But 48 just happened. We already have 3 people from that season. And like, don't get me wrong. Like, I really like Kyle. And I also really like Camilla. And this might be a hot take, but like, I like Joe a lot too. But they were like just here? So 3 feels like a bit of overkill? Only one person from 40 several? Like, I love Genevieve. I'm so glad Genevieve is here. But we didn't get Andy too? And really? No Jesse and Carol? At least Q's here. Like, for me, I was like, I feel like there are 3 new era players that are like a lock for a returnee season. And for me, that was Jesse, Carolyn, and Q, and only one of them made it. And even then, I'm also like, man, like, I've got opinions on 41, but I would have loved to see Shan again. I think we really did need like a new era returnee all-star season before doing this. But we got Christian. That makes me happy. We got Devins. That's fun. Sri and Ozzy a 5th time? And this is Coach's what? I think 4th? It's like, like I kind of want to see some new blood, but also, like, I like Suri and Ozzy and Coach. How do I feel about that? And that was kind of just the vibe I'd had once the cast was announced until the premiere of, I'm looking forward to it. Like, I'm excited. It's a big season, but also just, I don't know if this is what I wanted, but it kind of also is. So I just hope it's good. I just hope that I can get some really good, interesting interactions. I can have some fun, and I can get some good gameplay out of this. The premiere was great, man. It was just like within like the first few minutes, I was like, okay. Whatever misgivings I had, whatever questions or concerns I had about the cast, yeah, that's gone. I really, really loved the premiere. I will say, there is one big problem that I have, though. And I'll go ahead and get that out of the way before I talk about the things I really liked, which essentially is just all these interactions. It's I know I'm going to use the word character a lot. Like, oh man, I think this is a really great character. Like, I love these character interactions. And it's so weird to say that and think that, because these aren't characters. These are like real people, you know? And so when I talk about how, like, oh man, like I really love, like, this person has such an interesting character going in. It's like, oh, I can see like the development. I can see the arc. Like, that's my writer brain working. And I'm like, there's something really off about that. And I'm not going to lie, but I guess at least I'm aware of it. This would have been great if I was wearing my, like, I'm a writer shirt, which I was wearing yesterday while watching it. But my number one concern, just get it out of the way, I'm like, there's a lot of advantages and bullshit already. Idols. I will never have a problem with idols. Unless, you know, there's too many in the game at once kind of thing. Like, okay, we have idols. We've got the boomerang idol, which is new. I guess shout out to Billie Eilish because it was her idea. And I think it's kind of neat. If you find the idol, you have to give it to someone else on another tribe. And if they get voted out with it in their pocket, it goes back to you. So you're trying to give it to someone that you don't think is going to play it, which is like, it's a weird idea, but I think there's some interesting gameplay you can do with it. And Jen found it and she gave it to Ozzy. Like, Ozzy's been voted out with an idol as pocket before. I'm just hoping history repeats. And the person who gets it, they know that someone sent them an idol, they don't know who, and they don't know about the boomerang function, which means in a tribe swap or merge, Genevieve could go up to him and talk to him and be like, hey, you know, like, I'm the one who gave you that idol, blah, 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 and then maybe they can work together. And I think that'd be kind of cool. Alternatively, you know, she can say that to try to get some goodwill and be like, okay, so he did play the idol, I'm not getting it back. Okay, but maybe there's some goodwill with Ozzy, we can do this. Or it might be, okay, he does still have it. Cool. I gotta get rid of him so it goes back to me. Like, there's some interesting stuff here. It reminds me of, what was it? I think it was in season 42. I don't know, maybe there's another. I want to say the sandwich season did it. Like the amulets. Because I think that's what they did instead of the sandwiches, and why Austin went on his revenge tour. That was 45. But it reminds me of that, where like everyone, like, okay, 3 people have these little doohickeys. The less there are in the game, the more powerful they are, but you have to use it in conjunction with the other people. So either it's an incentive to work together, or it's an incentive to target each other. And I do think that's fun. I do think that's neat. So I don't mind the boomerang idol. But we've already had a forced lost vote, and then a second forced lost vote, and then an extra vote, and a block of vote. So 2 people are missing their votes, 2 people have advantages, and one of those people also has an idol. It's already a lot. Like, we're 1 episode in, we're 2 eliminations in. Unfortunately, I'll get to that part in a second. But it's already a lot. Let me rephrase that. Not that it's a lot to keep track of, because it's only a few things. But I don't want it to get to a situation where this is a season about the advantages and not about the players. Because I think that was one of the big problems with 41, was the real big emphasis, like, all right, this is the new era, this is how we're going to do things, this is how we're going to play things, and it was just trinkets and doohickeys everywhere, rather than, let's focus on these really interesting people. You know, the winner of that season, Miss Erica, was horribly under-edited to the point where I didn't really know her or her game that well, but everyone on the beach was like, no, she's like the greatest player ever. Like, I would love to see it. I would have loved to have like really seen it and understood it. Actually, I would have been pretty excited if she came back to play again, so I could really understand her game and like really see it the whole way through. Honestly, I would have loved to see Mariana. So Mariana was so dang fun, man. But to my point, I can see what's maybe going on here, And I don't love that. And I really hope it doesn't become a problem. That being said, pretty much everything else of this episode, aside from the medical evacuation, because like that's never fun. No matter, as I think it was either Genevieve or Aubrey had said, like it's always shitty when that happens. It doesn't matter if this is someone you're allied with, someone that's your nemesis, or someone that you don't know super well. You never, unless you're Banu and you're like, hey, thank you God, it means I have another day on the island. You never want to see that happen to anyone. And I'm not gonna lie, as I said a little bit ago, I'm a big Kyle fan. I really enjoyed 48, and I feel like I'm apparently in the minority for that. But for me, it really was the first, like the pre-merge, I thought was really fun. It was really dynamic. The merge was very stagnant in terms of like the boot order and like people not making like big moves to shake things up. I get that. I will not fight that. But what I found so riveting was Kyle. I guess it's who I found so riveting. It's like it was his moral dilemma of Camilla and I are like that. We're super tight. We've been together since day one. We're kind of running things. I'm also in this strong 5 alliance. And we're going really well. And I have Camilla here as basically our extra number. And no one knows. Like, they think like she's just kind of here and she's cool with us. Like, we like her enough. Except David, who's like, I can see what's happening here. So shout out to David, man, for being like, no. This is sus. He's like, I am trying to maintain this group because we're going to go far together. But also this duo. And it's really hard sometimes to really navigate all of this without being too suspicious. But also, I know that Joe is the biggest threat out here. Literally. But also, like, he is kind of in charge of everything. He's going to be the number one guy competing. That's going to be my threat against in immunity challenges. I think he's the biggest threat to win this game. And I need to vote him out. I have to vote him out. And I just can't do it. Because I really like the guy. And like some of the conversations that we have had, these are talks that go beyond the game. This is not manipulating someone, lulling him to a false sense of security. I genuinely feel like I have made a friend for life. And I'm also lying to this guy and deceiving this guy. And I don't know what's more worth it. To me, that is why I watch Survivor. That's why I love Survivor. Like I said, it's riveting to me. And so seeing Kyle come back and he's a recent winner, he should have this massive Target neon sign saying, vote me out. And he was probably in the best position in his tribe. Colby loved him, was immediately like, I want to work with Kyle. Colby and Steph hook up. Hookup's not the right word. They link up and are like, hey, we've worked together before. We're cool. Let's work together. You like Kyle? I love Kyle. Cool. What do you think of Genevieve? Oh, Genevieve's super cool. I want to work with her. And then Kyle and Genevieve start talking like, did we just become best friends? Yeah. Do you want to be number ones? Yeah. And then they get Q involved like, you mean I get Colby, Stephanie, Kyle, Jen, and Q? What a freaking team! This is amazing! Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see that. And then you have Colby after like 20 minutes with Rose. I was like, this is the dude, I hate this kid. He's so annoying. He doesn't shut up. I don't want to deal with him anymore. And then the next day, he's like, okay. Perhaps I spoke too soon. He's a fun kid. He's just a good guy. I like him. I kind of want to take him under my wing. And it's I don't know, validating is not quite the right word, but it was really interesting hearing Colby's take on Rizzo because it's very similar to mine. Not that I'm like 50 years old and would take him under my wing. I'm like 30 something. But that sense of the first impression was like, okay, he's a lot. Like he's himself. And I will always support that unless, you're like a serial killer. But Dude is unabashedly himself, and I gotta give him his credit for it. But the whole RIZGOD thing, I'm like, it's a lot. It's a lot. But there are a lot of moments in 49 where I'm like, this dude is fun. Like, he is making me laugh. Like, I'm laughing with him. I'm not laughing at him. I'm enjoying him and his vibe. But something I consistently said when talking about that season is, I really like Rizzo when he drops that persona. Like, when he's able to just be more vulnerable. That's when I found myself really rooting for the guy. And so just that moment between him and Colby, where Colby's like, hey, I really like you, and like I kind of want to look after you. If you have any questions about anything, and like not trying to be like a little bro you kind of thing, but it's like genuinely like about life. If there's anything I can do to help you here or over there, like I want to be able to do that. And he's like, man, like you remind me of my dad, and like I miss my dad. Like this is kind of everything to me. Especially as Savannah says, yeah, like we finished 49 2 weeks ago, so I highly doubt they went home and then went back. So like he probably hasn't seen his family in a month plus, however much time he's out here in 50. So I can definitely see like, yeah, seeing someone that is someone he looked up to, someone he really liked, having that relationship with him, like that's just so sweet and so endearing. I'm like, man, I can't remember the last time I watched Survivor and thought to myself, I really don't want people to get voted out. Like, there have been times where I've watched seasons and thought, like, like 47 is, 46, 47 as well, but 46 for sure. I was like, I would kind of love to just watch this season again, like the exact same cast run it back, because this is a really fun cast. Like David versus Goliath is very similar in that regard, but where I'm like, I don't want to see anyone get voted out. I just kind of want to watch, like, I don't know how many episodes, like 13 or whatever. I want to watch 26 days worth of everyone here just interacting like a sitcom, because I think it would be fantastic. Really like that, but I got distracted a bit. The point I was trying to make is that Kyle was like super well positioned, but then he went, a bit too hard in a challenge, tweaked his ankle. And by the end, he tore his Achilles tendon, and it's not safe anymore. As Jeff kind of put it, he's like, can I stay? Do I have an option in that? And Jeff essentially tells, like, look, man, our liability insurance is not going to cover that. Like, we got to get you out, man. So, he had to get medevaced. And like I said, to me, like, the advantages, like, that's just an element of the show. This season, I don't think I'm going to care for. This was something that it does not ruin the episode by any means. Like, it's just kind of the nature, I guess, of the monster. I was going to say the nature of the beast. But it is a thing that happens on Survivor. And it's never fun when it happens. You don't want to see it happen. But I don't know exactly how I was trying to end that point. I guess just overall, though, like, I genuinely hope that Kyle's been able to recover, that, he's doing okay. But getting into the other stuff, like the other character beats, tribe dynamics, I think it's best to go tribe by tribe. So I'm not going to remember the names. It's Vatu, I think, is Colby's. So I'll start with that, which I kind of hit on already. But we have Q and Aubrey on the same tribe, and I don't think I've seen them interact yet. Where he's like, like if she's smart, if she's got those Aubrey vibes, she's got to go. And I'm like, okay. So does that mean Q and Aubrey are just going to be going at it? Does that mean they're going to become allies now? I don't know. Because one thing I thought was really interesting is, like, when Kyle left, he was like, hey guys, like, I hope one of you wins. Like, you guys go win it for me. And you can see it a bit in the episode and also in, like, the preview for the next one. Q seemed to really take that kind of hard. Like, yeah, one of us needs to win. And, like, we're going to do it for Kyle. And it kind of makes me wonder, is he going to have a kind of strategy where it's, I don't want to say keep the tribe strong, because that's generally used as more like a physical thing, but how do we make sure that one of our people wins? We need a really well-rounded team, a really well-rounded alliance. So I could see him like making an alliance with Aubrey, like, hey, you are the kind of person that's really good at this game. You're really intelligent. You're the kind of person I wouldn't trust, but I want one of us to win this game for Kyle. And I think having you gives us the best chance. So I want to work with you. That could happen. And that could be really interesting. You also see Aubrey and Genevieve interact with each other. And it's very similar to watching Genevieve interact with Rachel. I'm just like, hey, you play a similar game to me. Yeah, I do. So, can we make this work? I mean, I'd like to, but do you think we can make this work? I mean, I'd like to, but... And I don't like, I would love to see them team up and work together. I think that'd be fun, but they might just end up they might really just be nemesis. I didn't really get to see Rizzo interact with anyone besides Colby, and I loved that, but I was like, man, I really wanted to see Rizzo and Q interacting. Oh yeah, Angelina's also there. I'm sorry, like, I love Angelina. Like, DVG is so dang fun. But she really didn't get a whole lot in this episode, and like, I am hoping to see more of that. And then, like, with Stephanie, we saw Steph and Colby interacting. They seem pretty close. Like, Colby right now, it seemed like Colby, Kyle, and Genevieve were kind of like the main focus of the tribe in that episode. With a good amount of Q as well. And now that Kyle's gone, I guess that might still be sort of the core three. We'll see how that goes. In terms of alliances and like where the lines are drawn, so it was, like I said, Colby, Steph, Q, Genevieve, and Kyle. But Colby and Q have lost their votes. So in a tribe of 8, only 6 people had their votes. But now Kyle's been medevaced. So in a tribe of 7, 4 people have their vote. No, sorry, 5 people have their votes. So it's Genevieve, Steph, and these 2 are aligned with Colby and Q who can't vote. There's Rizzo, and Rizzo seems like he'd probably go along with Colby because it seems like they've got something. And then there's Angelina and Aubrey, and I didn't really notice anyone allying with or targeting Angelina. And with Aubrey, like, she and Genevieve were already kind of throwing shade at each other. But I don't know, maybe Q will go, like, all right, I got to get rid of her, or maybe Q will really want to save her. We'll kind of see how that goes. That's how that tribe is. What's Red Tribe? It's like Kahlo. I think Kahlo is the teal one. I don't remember what orangey Red Tribe is, but we're going to go to them now. So that's, I guess it's easier for me to think of it along the like dynamic lines. So there's Jenna from season 1. Suri and Ozzy, who linked up and were like, okay, we've played together before, we've targeted each other before. Are we cool? Oh, we're super cool. Like, Suri, I'm going to be dead ass with you. I want you to be my number 1. Like, you're going to be my ride or die out here. Thank you. Jenna's already targeting me. I need a number 1. So they become tight. Christian and Devins become best friends immediately, and it's just like the funnest, sweetest thing I've ever seen. And then they start hanging out with financial analyst Emily Flippin and also become besties. So it's like there's a strong trio here. So we've got a trio, a duo, a Jenna, and then there's Joe and Savannah. And I'm not exactly sure where Joe is, because it kind of seemed like he's number 4 with Emily, Christian, and Devins. But I don't know if it's like they're a 3 and then there's Joe, or if it's I don't know if it's that, if they're actually a 4, if they're like, no, like he was part of the vote, but he's not really part of our group. And then there's Savannah, who very much feels like she's on the outs because no one really knows her, no one super trusts her, and then by the end, she gets an advantage, doesn't tell anyone about it, and no one believed her for a second that she didn't get anything. Like, Devins is like, dude, I was trying not to laugh. Like, there's no way she doesn't have something. Like, she's not going to tell us. She clearly doesn't trust us. And that's a smart move, but great. Now you have a target on your back because you probably have something and you're not honest enough to share it. Fun. But they do lose the first immunity challenge. Suri, unfortunately, blows it. And from the moment they got on the beach, Jenna's like, I want Suri gone. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to play aggro. I'm going to play aggressive. She's a phenomenal player. Everyone loves her. Everyone wants to see her win. And she is the kind of player, I think she even says, she's like, you know, you let her take an inch, she'll take a mile. You have to get rid of Suri quickly. And after the challenge, it's like, there's maybe an argument there. But Ozzy is campaigning really hard to save her because that's his ride or die. And then everyone else is like, so we want to get rid of Suri because she is a problem. And she's really a problem in the challenges. We want to get rid of Jenna because she's too aggro. I don't like the vibes. You know, we could just get rid of Ozzy. Because we still break up, you know, what seems to be the obvious duo, the obvious team here. And we keep the chaos. And we don't want chaos, but if these two are at each other's throats, someone's going to pay attention to me and what I'm doing. So, yeah, maybe we should do that. But they vote out Jenna. They don't vote out Ozzy. I'll talk about Ozzy and Coach in a bit. That was incredible. But, now with where we're... Because there was something Joe said that I found really interesting. Which was, I can see that Suri and Ozzy are really close. And in my season, Kyle and Camilla were really close. And it's something I didn't see. And it was like, I was duped. I was deceived. And it's something that's really affected me. So seeing a group that's clearly really close, it gives me some misgivings. Because I feel like Ozzy is the exact person Joe would want to work with. You know, it has that strong 5 vibe. The type of game that Oscar, he's like, I'm not going to be Ozzy anymore. I'm Oscar now. But he is trying to be like, I want to build relationships and I want to be like honest to those relationships. Let me play a more like almost kind of it sounds like Ozzy wants to play the game that Coach is always saying that Coach is playing but never actually does. But it's the kind of thing Joe would really get into. But because Ozzy has a strong duo right now, it's like I don't feel comfortable with that given my history. So he would probably want to target them. But it makes me wonder, with Savannah, someone who's very clearly on the outs, does Joe want to reach out to her and form a duo of his own? Because that's what he had in his season with him and Eva. Does he at a point notice, hey, Christian and Devins are like really tight. Maybe I need to break that up. I think he's a kind of a bit of a wild card there. In a similar way that Savannah is, because she's someone that's very on the outs, she could very easily just get targeted and like, all right, she's out. No one really bats an eye. Alternatively, Suri and Ozzy are like, okay, the two of us are super tight. Savannah is kind of on the outs and everyone thinks she has a toy. What if we just bring her into our group and say, hey, we're a duo. You'll want to make it a trio? I'm one of those too, right? Like, you want to be one of our 3? Cool. Oh, you do have a toy. Well, it's 3 against 4, but you have a block, I have an extra, and I have an idol. Like, we can figure this out. We can navigate. So I feel like I'm really enjoying the dynamics in this tribe right now. Like, Christian is always so ding-dang fun. I love watching this dude. I'm like, this one feels really interesting. And it's like I was saying, it's like, I don't want anyone else to go this season because I really like the cast. But I kind of really want to see them go to Tribal again because I want to see how things go. And I can't lie, there's that part of me that's like, I kind of want Ozzy to play his idol to idol out Devins. And I really, really like Devins. But him being someone who, like, very much needed idols, like, to go forward is a huge part of his game. Him getting idled out is, like, peak Survivor gameplay storytelling. And I kind of love that, even though I don't want to see it happen. There's that, and then there's the other tribe, and I think that's Kahlo. So that's... Okay, I don't even really know what the dynamics here are. So there's a trio of Dee, Tiffany, and Camilla, who seem like they're just vibing really well. And then there's Jonathan and Coach, who are kind of close. And it seems like Jonathan was also bonding with Christy and Mike White, who apparently is ripped now. And then there's also Charlie. I saw Charlie, like, interacting with people, but I didn't really see Charlie making alliances. And I don't think I saw him interacting with Tiff, which is something I was hoping to see more of one way or the other. Either, you campaigned really hard on the jury for Kenzie to win in a way where I think you cost me the game, different from the way that Maria did. So I really don't want to work with you and I really don't like you. Alternatively, I saw how hard you campaigned for your ally. So, and I didn't have that with mine. So I want to be your ally going forward. I kind of wanted to see one of those happen, and it just didn't quite. Okay. Let's talk about Coach. Let's talk about Mike first, because Mike White is just like, look, man, I got invited to play Survivor again, and it's fun. It's great. Like, I learned a lot about myself the first time I was here. And then, like, with all the success of White Lotus, like, whenever I start getting overwhelmed, I just remember, dude, you were on Survivor. Like, you can do this. But just his energy, man. He's one of my favorite parts of DVG. And I just love seeing this dude interact with anybody. It's so fun. There's not really much to say, except I just really enjoy watching Mike White. There was this one quarterback. I think he played for the Jets. And I think he was also on, like, the Dolphins for a bit. His name was also Mike White. And whenever he would have, like, a huge game, he was Mike effing White. And I remember, like, his teammates had shirts that said Mike effing White after, like, one of his big games. It was great. The Jets are always so funny, man. But anyways. So Ozzy, Coach, and Q... sounds like the start of a joke, are, like, trapped on an island together to complete a challenge to get tribe supplies. And Ozzy is dominating, but the last part of the challenge is, like, you have to string a bunch of sticks together and grab a key and blah, 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 and it's really, really hard and frustrating. To a point where Ozzy's like, look, man, if whoever gets it first, I'm just going to let him take it, real honor. I'm going to be real about it. And Q was like, yo, I agree. And Coach is saying to himself, I'm not going to say a damn thing because I do not intend to keep my word on that. Because I am someone who plays with honor and integrity. And I don't want to make any promises that I don't intend to keep. And you know what? Fair. Because I think it's one of the main reasons he lost to Sophie, is because Coach was so good at, I'll make you a promise, I'll make you a promise. Like, he just made Ozzy a promise, like, yeah, man, I'll take you, I'll take you to the end. Of course I will. You went like, yo, it's got to be the battle of the strongest. And I'm like, no, I'm totally not going to do that. And like, so then why'd you lie? Like, there was no need for you to do that. You just did it anyways. And they have a heart-to-heart when they first get on the island, which essentially boils down to, hey, man, you cost me $1 million, and I'm kind of mad at you about that. You know what? I did, and I've always felt bad about that. I'm sorry. All right, we're cool. We're cool. Cool, beef squashed. We're Gucci. Squashed. We're Gucci. Then Ozzy gets the key ring first and is dragging it towards him, and then Coach is like, I'm gonna get it. So, like, Coach takes it, and Ozzy's like, really, dude? Really? Like, we just had our heart-to-heart. We just squashed whatever beef we maybe had. And then you're pulling this. Never change, Coach. So Coach wins supplies for his team. And then he leaves, and then the other two learn they have to stay on Exile Island. And so number one, I'm like, Exile Island is back. That's good. I love a good Exile Island. But also, really, Coach? You had to do that? Because if you didn't, if Ozzy won, I could have had Coach and Q together on Exile Island. That would have fed generations. We're only in episode 1, man. But, Coach is like, yeah, I did it. I beat Ozzy. Like, I slayed the dragon. And, like, I'm watching it with my mom, and she's like, no, you didn't. She was so thoroughly unimpressed. But, he's telling his tribe, like, yeah, I did it. Like, I won. And he's so happy and so proud of himself. And then Q and Ozzy tell everyone else, yeah, this is what actually happened. So when it's time for the journey with Colby, Savannah, and Mike White, Colby's like, hey, what did Coach tell you about him meeting Ozzy? Because the story we heard was not flattering. And then when Mike goes back, he's like, all right, Coach, I feel like you should know what they were saying about you, so here's what they were saying. And then Coach has this face just cracked me up. Just like, really? They would say that? They would besmirch my integrity? Like, I'm an honorable guy. Like, this is how I play Survivor. I'm like, Coach, that is how you play Survivor. Like, this... Oh, it's great. Like, oh my goodness. This season's immaculate already. I'm excited. It was a really, really fun first episode. What happened with Kyle notwithstanding. So I'm hoping there are no more medical evacuations throughout the season. I just hope it stays fun. I hope it stays interesting. Who do I want to win? There's the part of me that's like, I really just want to see Suri finally win. But I think of anyone, I feel like I'm rooting most for Genevieve. Because I really, really loved 40 Several. But I mean, if it comes down to Christian, Devins, or like financial MLS Annalie Flip, to one of like those three, I'm going to be very happy. I don't know where this season is going to go. But I'm excited for the ride.